Hello and welcome to Game Brigade. My name is Brian. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be doing a review for Fractured Sky, and we're going to finally dive into this one and give you my final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. Okay, thank you guys for joining me. Obviously, I wanted to do a review finally. We did a first impressions video. I think that video is very, very good, and if you haven't watched it, you could watch that as well and get some similar thoughts on this, but we are going to be leaving a final score for Fractured Sky at the end of this video. As a reminder, we currently have a giveaway going on right now where you can win your own copy of a super deluxe version of Fractured Sky, which is the copy that I have out here, fully painted, beautiful version of Fractured Sky. There is a link down in the description down below for full details. There are more than just Fractured Sky up for giveaway, so please check that out. But remember, you must be subscribed and like this video and comment with the special comment word. Okay, so let's talk Fractured Sky. Fractured Sky is from IV Studios. This is a 1 to 5 player game. And I really enjoy this, actually at the 4 to 5 player count. 3 was okay, but I wouldn't play it again. It's basically this map on the reverse side, just a little bit smaller, reducing some of the area control locations. See, Fractured Sky is a social deduction area management control game with kind of an action efficiency game kind of going in there. And I've kind of set up the board to kind of represent what a midway point in the game might represent. So we're going to give you a quick rundown of the mechanics of this game, and then we'll dive into my thoughts and talk about some of the mechanics and overall my opinion of this game and where it might fall within your collection. So Fractured Sky will be taking place on this board. There are several different locations across the board which represent different territories that victory points might be at the end of each round. Now, there are 5 total rounds. You can see this kind of a countdown marker. At each time there's a round, we'll be revealing a new card, which is also going to be a victory point for players. Players are going to be competing for these starfalls. These are a hidden meteorite gem that's fallen from Earth and has caused these lands to kind of erupt up into the sky, and we're going to be competing through them. Whoops, knocked this bunker out. And they are going to be captured by sending our airships here with different values of bidding on them. See, this is a blindish bidding game where players are going to be bidding out different values on their ships, but you can only bid up to a maximum of 10 of your value, but you have 3 ships that you're going to use. So that means you can use an 8 and a 2, and then your third ship has to be a 0. You could bid a 10, but your other 2 ships have to be 0s, etc. So there are different types of combinations that you can send your ships out to get those hidden starfalls. Now, you're only going to know at the start of each round where one starfall is located. That's considered the public starfall. It's located by this deck. You basically shuffle this deck. You flip a card. Wherever it says there's a starfall, that's where we're going to have a known starfall. Other than that, we have locations up here. This is the scout and peak locations, where you could take a look and see where a location is and get a little bit more of hidden information, but other people can also purchase that as well and get the same information that you have. What do I mean by that? Well, if you spend 2 gold, we can send one of our tokens up here and take a look at one of these cards. This is going to tell us that the wayward wood, which is located up here, will also have a starfall there. And because there's 2 wood down here, I can cover up this wood and gather a new resource. So this game is a game about getting these starfalls, but it's also kind of got a action efficiency economy going on with the resources. As you can see, all these locations have different types of resources out there that you are going to be using to collect with your bigger ships to get different types of different buildings and whatnot that can help you later in the game. So how does that work? So let's look at the dreadful desert here in the middle. It's got 2 gold icons, but we also have that public starfall here in the middle. When all players are done bidding on this location, let's say there are 3 here, and and I bid a 2, and let's say for example I won for whatever reason, whoever is the highest player in terms of their bid is going to earn any starfalls on that location. The second highest player is going to earn both those resources, as well as, and I would also have collected this, as well as any linked markets to this location. Yellow, unfortunately, doesn't have any linked locations, but I did. I had 2, so I would have earned 2 more gold for that location. And then green, if they're in the 3rd position, they'll earn only 1 resource plus any additional linked, which is they have 1, so they would earn 2 gold for that position. And you will do that for each location, for all the starfalls, as well as any ships that are out. Let's say, this guy goes here, there's no starfall here. He would then get the next highest resource or next highest reward, which is the 2 resources, plus any linked markets to that location. So players are going to be trying to evaluate getting resources early or getting victory points early, eventually constructing different types of buildings so they can get better rewards. Your markets provide you additional resources, while your towers provide additional strength for your ships in a region. That is the rough summary of the game. I have got a much more detailed one I'd watch, and I'll put a link to the description for my first impressions down below, because I think that's probably the best place for you to look if you're looking for a higher view look at this game. But now let's talk about overall my thoughts about this game. So I mentioned that this is an action efficiency game, and what do I mean by that? Well, I talked about this in my first video. This game very much wants you to utilize the actions available to you to either elongate your turns as long as you can so that you can have the most known information, or be as quick as you can doing certain things so you can take advantage of early round turns. So there's 2 ways you can approach this game. On the player turns, you can try to be fast and early and try to secure different locations by building different structures and getting them in those prime locations early. You can also send your airships out to recover one of these cards. If you are the first one in a region, you'll place your ship in the middle, which then draws a card, that tells you then that there is not going to be an additional starfall there because this gets taken. Any of these cards will not have additional starfalls because the ones that do have starfalls are going to be located over here in the scout region. But by also delaying your turns, you get full information about where people are at, and eventually you can decide, okay, you know what? I saw someone scouted up here and they're placing a ship in the Wayward Wood. I think there's a thing there, so I'm going to contest them and I'm going to go up there as well. I need some peaceful planes to get some resources and no one's there, so I can guarantee I'm going to get it. And then I'm going to go down here as well. That's kind of the idea. Like, you want to push your turns out as long as you can. And I really like the way this game implements kind of a differentiating strategy. Now, when I first played this game, I did also think that markets were just the most powerful thing that you could build in this game, and that you should always prioritize markets because they just give you more resources. The more resources I have, the more things that I can do later in the game, and I can eventually stall forever. While other people have to take their turns, I can stall purchasing, the peaks and scout actions up here. I can eventually buy some of these skimmers each round as I wait for other people to do their actions. But eventually, after multiple plays, I realized there's multiple ways that you can look at a game each round and decide how are you wanting to attack it. The towers provide additional power in each region, which gives you some differing types of bluffing mechanics that you can do, because anytime you have one of these ships, they're going to collect resources, but they have to have a power on them. So if you want to send your ship out as a 0, which means they're not going to, they have no power, but as long as you have some connecting regions to them, then they're going to be able to pick up stuff, and they can even contest for stuff even by themselves. So I do like that there are alternate ways that you can utilize your ships and different types of strategies. And there's a new expansion coming out, which is going to change completely the type of way that you're going to attack the resources, which I'm excited for that. I haven't played that one yet, but effectively it's going to be a set collection with these starfalls. So it's going to change a lot of the different types of strategies we're going to do. So from there, I want to talk a little bit about One of the complaints that a lot of people I've had have played with, which was refined a little bit better with the final copy, and that was up here with the peak actions. So these peak actions are these yellow cards, and these are tiered based for the levels that we're going to be at. So you have level 1 all the way up to level 5. They are the turns, and you can have only certain types of cards in those locations. And what do I mean by that? So these cards will have different types of challenges for you to accomplish. For example, this one says, have the most troop power in the Dreadful Desert. That was the previous round. Remember, Dreadful Desert's down here. So if someone decided to peek at this, they could see, ooh, there's going to be a victory point at the Dreadful Desert. And if there's not a known star there, I could literally put a 1 there and potentially win that one. It gives you some options in terms of thinking about what you want to do. In the prototype, or at least the one I was playing, we didn't actually have these tiered properly or whatnot. So you could have some stuff that was just incredibly difficult to get, and it just felt completely random. But with the way it's designed now, where you can only have certain types of cards and certain tiers, that way very difficult or hard, late game ones only show up near the end, is very rewarding and nice. And it gives a way for people to find out different strategies they can do as they dive in deeper to getting these cards and finding additional ways to get victory points. And it's really fun when multiple people start looking at the same one and they know what an additional victory point is going to be, and you start seeing them racing for it. It's really, really interesting mechanic. And then down here we have the scout mechanic, which I've always appreciated. It gives you a way to generate a potential resource and letting you know where the hidden starfalls are going to be for each round. I really, really appreciate the scout mechanic overall. So what are my thoughts now that I've had a lot of games with Fractured Sky? I have grown very fond of this game, and it has moved itself up my tiers for my family weight gateway games that I bring, especially when we're doing date nights with friends, or I have a gamer who is a little bit newer to the hobby, and I want to introduce them to something that is very deluxeified and kind of gives them an idea of what board gaming can be, but it's not so rules heavy that it weighs them down. Fractured Sky is at that perfect point where you can really teach the rules to someone in 10 minutes, and everyone can get going comfortably playing this game effectively. They have also very good player cards. There's 2 of them, so they're double-sided, so you can look at each one and find out what you need to do for the games, and they tell you how the rewards are handled. Very, very clean production style here. Now, Fractured Sky has 3, or at least they did have 3 levels. I can only comment on this one. This is the Super Deluxe one, so it is obviously higher in terms of the cost for people to get. There is a more approachable one that's a retail version, but it only has cardboard tokens. It's still the same gameplay, just doesn't have all the miniatures. And then you have that middle level, which has the same look in terms of miniatures that I have, except the miniatures aren't painted. Don't necessarily think you need the painted miniatures. I like the look of them. I think they're pretty and good, to play with. But otherwise, the middle version has the exact same deluxeified feel for that. So if I were to give a final recommendation for Fractured Sky, knowing that this is that middle family weight game for me, I give Fractured Sky an 8.0. This is a great game for what it's trying to do. It's a really, really pleasant game. I enjoy the aesthetics of the board. I enjoy the bluffing mechanics that are presented throughout several different levels, and then the way it escalates through the game. It's a really, really special game. So I hope you guys found this fun and enjoyable to watch. For the giveaway comment down below, I want to do a hashtag, let's do fractured, hashtag fractured. And let me know what you guys think of this game. Is this one that you've picked up? And remember, we have 2 copies to give away for Fractured Sky. It'll be this one as well as a pledge for this game. Make sure you click that video down below for all the details. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.